Hello, and welcome back to my stables. I'm the DMobo, and welcome back to Echoes of the Past. As you can see, I am by myself once again. For the next session we have is going to be a very special one, and I hope you guys stay tuned. So, just like last time we didn't have a session. How in the world did Gramil's body get replaced with Lysia's, even if it was replaced? See, I don't want to fall into the cliche where the bad guy tells the heroes his plan. It gets boring that way. I figured this way, not only will my players would be intrigued and satisfied with the answer, but also you lovely viewers. You guys have shown us much support with all the views and the likes. I did the tallies, and over the year and a half we have been playing, we have had 929 views and 61 likes. That is a lot. That not only shows me that you guys are interested, but it also shows my players that you love them too. And I love this campaign. This has been a work in the making for so long, and the fact my party has reached this far, 90% of it is pulling it out of my behind, to be honest. It is mostly improv. At first I had a huge storyline written out, how dialogues were supposed to go, and the art of being a dungeon master, of a game master, is just going with the flow. Letting your players do whatever they want within a certain degree. But my players have given me a run for my money. Not only in terms of trying to think of something on the spot, but also just creating this world that they have affected. And they don't even know about it until they get their memories back. Which, don't worry, Korik will get his memories back at some point. Don't worry. It'll be fine. He'll get his memories back. So, as you can hear in the background, you've only heard this soundtrack once before. A very, very long time ago. Back of episode 15. It was either part 1 or part 2 when Sage disappeared because she got teleported all the way to Death's Hall. We are rewinding a bit back in time, where the party is eating breakfast, and Keith comes in bloodied. Not his blood, but the blood of the very 3 long-clawed fiends that were outside of the Gulen bubble, where Keith leaves the house, and the house is uninhabited. The castle is bustling with live and dead people. Small patrols are rushing about, some being teleported, some running outside of the castle. In the war room, the Dark Ruler sits and examines his map. And he pulls from his robes a scroll and unfurls it, holding it down with small dragon figurines. Now, hopefully no one's gotten into the house at this point. The layout should still be the same. If my theory's correct, I can still get inside without actually having to breach the bubble, for I know that bubble prevents anything evil getting inside. It burns them. And we remember that from possessing Eastral. However, haven't tried anything magical. He clicks his fingers and a lizard man walks forward and he stands by the Dark Ruler's side, who, without blinking an eye, grabs the lizard by the throat and quickly snaps his neck. With his longer claws, he's able to puncture the hide of the lizardman, and blood starts to pool, and a small little black portal opens up at the floor. Let's see if my theory's correct. He steps through the portal. And as he travels through it, he feels a certain warmth. And when his head exits the other side of the portal, he is inside his old quarters. His old master's house, where for years he studied under Eldridge, learning magic. The place where he got into Sage's head enough to where she agreed with his crazy experiment of herself becoming a spellbook. The place where he met his future Maester of Magics, who looked oddly a lot like Eldridge, but Mithrin cared not about what this golden boy wanted, but jealous of his magical prowess. For one so young, he knows so much and can fight with the blade. Normally, that's unheard of. The place where he finally destroyed his old master and became so much stronger when he cut him down. He walked through the rooms, snarling and grimacing when he saw the state of Sage's room and giving a sniff of indifference when he passed Kirish's. And he went to his old room. And he looked around. And he frowns. Who the hell put lights in here? Who the hell took all my stuff? Nah, worms. All of them. As he turns to leave, he notices a couple boxes. He quirks an eyebrow and goes through the boxes, and lo and behold, there's all his stuff. Notes, books, a couple things in jars. Oh, well, I'll just take that, thank you very much. And with a little whistle, another black portal opens up underneath the boxes and they sink through. He goes to walk outside of the house and notices a body wrapped in a white blanket. He cocks his head and he undoes the blanket enough to where he can see the face. Ah. Gramil. It's been quite a while. I've heard the Saya talk about you. Well, when she thought I wasn't listening. Always wanting you to come save her since you were the captain of the Royal Guard. I think she had a crush on you too. Well, it's a bit late for that now, isn't it? Oh well. You actually might be of some use for me. He rewraps the body and simply waves his hand over Gramil's body, and both he and the body sink into the darkness. They come out into the experimental room. Servants are running around. These two boxes. Place them near the door by my quarters. I wish to go through it at a later point. But for now, get the medical team. I have some experiments I need to run, and grab Lysia's body as well. We'll need that. The servants nod, and they start bustling away, and a few moments later, a few lizard men, a few Illumians come in the room. They're wearing some robes, some medical robes, and a few are carrying medical instruments. What would you like to do? I want to see how far I can actually switch the bodies. And he unwraps Gramil's body, and he sets the bodies side by side. Why not just switch them? Because that'll be too easy. I want it to be a little bit difficult, but also not detectable by magic. I feel like they're starting to learn my tricks once again, and I have to be a little bit more cunning. Well, they still have the same skeletal face, so why not just paint the bodies? Now that is a very good idea. Fetch me some painting supplies. And the lizardman runs off and comes back. The Dark Ruler sets in motion and begins mixing paints. And starts painting Gramil's body, just like it would Lysia. Let's make this more interesting. We're going to swap some pieces. You don't understand. Well, if we paint the bodies, they're going to assume it's going to be that of the other person. But when they have the funeral rites, they obviously have to carry the body. So, let's switch some hides as well. The medical team nervously looks around. What are you waiting for? Start skinning one. The team starts skinning Lysia's body as the Dark Ruler begins skinning Gramil's. After a few hours, the process is complete as the Dark Ruler finishes stitching up what is now Lysia's skin on Gramil's body. I may have to paint this one orange. When you wash off paint, does it come off in layers? An Illumian speaks. Yes, in some cases. It depends on the thickness of the paint and how long it's dried. Considering we've skinned our canvases, the paint has dried, so you could apply another layer of paint. Ooh, I like this. Okay, now we're going to paint them to their original colors. And they do so. So now Lysia's skin, which was painted orange, is now painted back to blue, her original color. And Gramil's skin, which is on Lysia's body, is painted blue and is now painted orange once again. I need to make sure I can use Gramil's body afterward. I need the gun, please. The medical team raises their eyebrows at this nicety, and a little frog tentatively hands over a better improved tattoo gun. Not just a small, sad, wooden-looking crossbow, but this one's more refined. This one's more metallic. It still has the same mechanism as before, but it's not as bulky. It fits better in the hand. And instead of having to dab the needle in the ink, there's a small little ink jar close to where the needle is. He sets to work, and soon Gramil's physical body bears the mark of anyone else under the Dark Ruler's control. After this, as everyone's cleaning up, one of the bodies starts to move. Lysia's true body.
Why does it feel like I have been run through by 1,000 swords and then ripped apart?
Ah, Grog. Welcome back. From what I could tell from your bodily injuries, you were stabbed multiple times. I'm not sure how, but whatever did it must have pretty pissed it off. But you also feel ripped apart because you're not in your own skin. I've switched your skin with Gramil's. Fuck around a little bit with Kirish and them.
Sick. And demented, I like it. Now, I remember turning into darkness. Did I just pass out, or did I actually die?
You full-on died. You were dead as a doornail. Trying to haul your tiny body into here was a little bit difficult, as you were kind of curled up and everything. But I have good news. You don't have to deal with that irksome daughter of mine. When her body died, she died. And through a little bit of gift of magic, Grog, you are your own person now. You listen to no one else.
That's fantastic. Finally, I can execute your will and do as you ask, without having the tiny little voice in my head making me stop and question myself.
Expect better results from you then. And I better get successful results.
You will. I ensure that you will.
In fact, I have a job for you. Gather the rest of the council and meet in the war room. We'll discuss it there. The Dark Ruler, Nisana, Cleo, Yulin, and Grog are gathered around looking at the map. So, I've gathered you here for I have a new plan. Grog is fully with us now. As far as I know, Mir is completely destroyed. Tarn, for the most part, is uninhabitable, for I left my army sitting there. I don't know why that fire demon came back without the army, but you know what? We'll have enough to resupply it. Misa is still pretty much under my control, just through Renumis. Ilya... There's still some rebels there, but the patrol and small force there is keeping it under wraps. Liba is deserted. Stupid governor was a waste of time, honestly. And Feem. The golem's been pretty sedentary. No reports of any retaliation or rebellion, so that's good. Eventually Feem will break, just as Misa has. So, what shall we do about Gula? Well, we know that a full frontal attack won't work. Yes, we broke the barrier last time, but the Gulans are very hardy. Quite resilient. They don't take kindly to being attacked. Nisana snorts. Well, of course they're not going to be too open to being attacked. I mean, look at Ilya. We got attacked and we're still putting up a fight. We did fight with all our strength. Funny, you all talk about strength and being able to fight, yet you're 3 dead people. One with her heart ripped out, one with her throat slit, and the other one just stabbed. Leo snorts. Yet you're the dumb one that still kept us in the undeath, as powerful undead. You think as a deathmancer, that he would have known that powerful souls turned into powerful creatures. Yes, we still have our own mental capabilities, but we're not fully under your control. I was able to infiltrate Gula. I do have multiple pawns at my disposal that can help get rid of some of the rebellion. A couple pawns that will really hurt Gondra in the process. And what would that be? Clerics that claim to follow Paylor and Brolk. You only have to turn one apple bad and the rest will follow. I believe that pesky purple frog that travels with Kirish and the rest of that lot. I think she's the only one that's actually a true devotee. The others are under my command. I have a special order that when they receive the word, they are to kill all the other clerics. And if there's any witnesses, to kill them as well. What did those frogs ever do to you? Yes, it's... Okay, look who we're talking to. He doesn't care if innocents are killed. It's the asshole. There's a sharp smack that vibrates the air. Oh, is that supposed to hurt? You got a bit of a red mark on your face, though. Ah, that'll heal. Heal like the gash across your throat. Sure, if that's what you want to think, Cleo. If you want my honest opinion, you may have to rely on those traitor clerics. After that, you just have to wait for people dumb enough to go outside of the bubble. Oh, but that's where my trump card comes in. People will have to come out of the barrier. Grog, lower your hood. And as Grog does so, Cleo gasps. I thought Grog was blue and smaller. She was. Grog is still inside of the body. They just swapped skins. And she's just wearing Grimmeal skin, is all. That's a bit fucked up. Yeah, just a tad. The Dark Ruler mocks a bow. Why, thank you. I plan to have Grog show up as Grimmeal, claiming Riku isn't the best of healing. Whatever she tried, she failed because of the heat of the moment. For their Gondro, they can't be defeated. Not one of their own can be killed. No, never. So, Grog, I think in about a few days, the funeral is going to happen. You'll wait for everybody to come out of the barrier. And once people are in sight, rip them up.
That's something simple. I just don't have any weaponry on me. But I think I can make a do. I do have a few magic tricks up my sleeve.
If you think that'll work, do you want to take one of us as backup? No, I don't think that would work too well. If people are starting to get their memories back, then they'll remember that the two of you are dead. It won't work. I don't know who has their memories back. I think I definitely know Sage and Kirish do. for the way they were all over Hadwin, and the hate in their eyes. What else would really throw them off guard? He looks to one of the servants. Fetch me any. She'll make a great knight in this chess game. The servant runs, and a few minutes later, Annie walks in. Her usual garb of green leaves of a corset and skirt have now been replaced with a black corset and black silky skirt. You wanted to see me? I did, yes. Take a seat. And he explains the plan to Annie. Oh, I like this plan. What would my role be? The creatures of the sands are very sensitive to anything that enters the sands. It's like a watery, it's almost like sharks to that of a struggling fish in water. You go to the edge of the forest, where the border of Tarn and Gula meet. And you'll splash around a little bit in the sands, catch the attention of the wildlife. Cause enough ruckus, and I think someone's bound to come up. Suggest that they help you reunite Grimil to Keith. And if any of those pesky, traitorous dragons come along, dominate them. We don't want anything ruining our plan. And the thing is all but one of Citra is magical. And dragons are magical creatures anyway, so detecting magic, your residue will be so minute compared to those that they won't be able to catch it. So this means I'll be able to see Rhea again. There is a possibility, yes. Are we allowed to have casualties? Well, commit casualties? That's the whole point. Try to wipe out Gula as much as possible. Any primary targets? Other than Gondra. Get rid of the council members. I'm gonna need names and faces, because I don't know who that is. I never left Ilia. Alright, that I can do. And he writes on a small piece of paper and hands it to Annie. These are the names that you were looking for. I'm not sure where they'll be, but keep an eye out for at least the description. I've noticed that these Ghulins are very different in their markings. Now, leave me, I must prepare. He goes to leave the throne room, and everyone disperses. And he looks to Grog. You want to go now? Get started?
Why not? And this will also be a good chance for us to know each other. Having a good plan and how to execute that plan will make this go a lot smoother. Plus, we know how to work some of the heartstrings of Shidra. So, this should go a lot easier than planned.
Alright, take me to Gula. And Grog opens a small portal, and they are on the edge of the desert. Outside of the war room, there was a small hole burned in the glass. There is Tog sitting upon a sphere of fire, sipping what looks to be tea. As he listens into all of this, and after the meeting is dismissed, He thinks, and he shakes his head. All of this talent wasted. How sad. I wish I could leave of my own volition, but I can't. I'll get pulled back either way. I can't really afford to be put in those chains. I wonder. And in his palm, a fiery orb makes itself into a fiery raven. Deliver this message to Sage. Gula is going to be attacked. It's going to be led by Annie and Grog. I'm not sure how Grog is still walking around, I saw, to his injuries. But try and postpone the funeral. If anything, have it indoors. Keep an eye out on any paler clerics, too. For the exception of the one named Riku. Be careful, Sage. I would still like to teach you some magic someday. And Kirish. I do not ask your forgiveness, but for your aid to take down this asshole. I am sorry for the pain I have caused, directly or indirectly to you. I've heard great things about Illumian fighters. Once this is all done, if you let me live, I would like to learn the ways of fighting from you. And the raven flies away. Down below, there is a lizardman, beautifully camouflaged amongst the rotting trees and grass. It's very hard to miss the fiery man in the sky, as it is such a drab, dreary, gray scenery. He just sees him sitting there. He can't hear anything, but he sees a small little fireball soar across the sky. He slips into the stagnant waters and swims, following the fiery bird. He runs underneath it, keeping an eye, dodging the guards, bashing in a few skulls if need be, but he's on one mission. To see what this fiery man is up to, for if the fiery man is involved, he's up to no good. He keeps his eyes on the bird as the screaming mountains approach him. Over the years of being imprisoned there, Bartok has learned to drown out the noise. It is just a very loud wind to him. It doesn't mean it's not there, it just helps him sleep at night. To avoid the trauma he has caused onto others, to avoid the nightmares that plague him. He breaches the border of Misa, and he runs through the charred, dead grass. I do remember this being lush and green. I hope one day time will heal these lands. As he rushes by, he sees burnt and destroyed villages, and each time he does, his heart drops. A lot has changed since he was imprisoned. A lot has changed since Kirish left. The Raven passes over a small little town. Signs of battle have definitely been here, but not destroyed or burned like the others. He stops around, and he made the mistake of stopping, for the bird did not stop. He sees a large blood stain on the ground and shakes his head and tries to cover it with his foot. He looks around and there's no one outside, but there's a large tree off in the distance. He trots over and he just looks. For surrounding the tree are hundreds of tombstones. And as some sick joke, there are people hanging in the trees. He snarls, and he carefully climbs the tree. For talking with Kirish, he knows this is an important tree. This is a tree of magic. A tree of history. He didn't want to damage it any more than it already was. He managed to slice the ropes with his claws, but he was strong enough to be able to hold the ropes in his hands and gently lower the bodies onto the ground. Halt! Who goes there? Bartok looks up and has a shocked look on his face. I'm Bartok. Whom am I speaking to? Lydia. Darling, you're just going to tell your name to every stranger you see. Well, we're going to kill him anyway, so what's the point? Oh, come on. We're going to kill him immediately. We should at least get some information from him. Come now, brother and sister. What were you doing on our tree? Well, I had an old friend of mine that used to live here. He told me of his little village and how it was just it was just him and his family. And then more of Illumians started to gather around, and your little town became, well, famous for magical pilgrimages. I noticed that there were bodies hanging off of it. So I cut them down, and I was just about to start burying them. A lizard man with morals? I highly doubt it. Tell me, who was your friend? I'm interested to know. You did look awful shocked at my wife. Why is that? I also want to know. Never really met anyone of your sort. My sort? Well, I can definitely see where he got his looks and mannerisms from. And the three people's faces grow wide. My contact was none other than Kirish Stormwing. Does that ring a bell? The woman lowers her hands just a bit and leans into the man on her left, who grips her tightly. The man on her right just crosses his arms and looks down his nose at him. Now, my nephew died long, long ago. Oh, I can assure you, he's quite well alive. I heard from an acquaintance of his about 2 months ago. That's not possible. We couldn't find him. He is dead. Just because you can't find somebody after a battle doesn't mean they're dead. That dark asshole has been taking prisoners. Then he might as well be dead. Lydia, if there's any chance, Kyrka could still be alive. That could be the spur of hope we need to keep everybody going, to keep fighting. But do you see what happens when we keep fighting? More of us fall. More of us add to this tombstone yard. But it kinda also shows that we haven't given up. So I'm fine with that. Kyrka, this is not the time right now. What are we going to do with him? I was just passing through until I realized where I actually was. I've actually been spying on the castle, but I lost sight of the bird. How do we know you're not going to go back and sell us out? Why would I sell you out when I was imprisoned there as well? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it, Lydia? You have no right to call me by my name. That's how you introduced me. Do what you want with him. I want no parts of it. Honestly, I'm sick of death and killing. Lydia, darling, wait. And Lydia and her husband go off. The man named Kyrka squats down, so he's eye level with Bartok. Now, I'm going to tell you something right here, right now. If I ever hear that invasion is coming, I'll be sure to live, and I will make you pay with every scale on your body. I'm going to realign all of your scales to make it fit me. For I know lizard man hide is quite thick and durable. I need some new armor. Better yet, I can actually send it up to Kyrka if you say that he's still alive. And if I find out you've been lying about that, I'm going to add your teeth and claws to my shield. Are we good? And he's going to slap his hand across Bartok's face and then 2 gentle slaps. If you were anyone else, I would have buttoned your hand off. Ah, but I'm not anyone else. I'm me! See, my sister-in-law can be quite angry, but I'm more spiteful. I like giving pain. I guess you could call me a sadist. Only when it's deserved, though. I really hope you don't deserve it. Right along now. Kyrka will get up and nonchalantly walk back to the village. But what about the bodies? Oh, we do our own thing. We don't want nasty little lizardman germs all over our corpses at burial time. It just won't work. It doesn't go. It's against our religious beliefs. And Bartok just looks side to side in a very confused manner and slowly gets up. He gives the town a wide berth this time and starts going back to where he came. Well, now I know where Kirsch gets it all from. His looks from his mother, his calm demeanor from his father, and his psychoticness from his, I'm going to guess, his uncle. Right. I'll at least keep an eye on the town. It's the least I can do for Kirish. And as he slinks away into the dead trees, he keeps his eye to the sky, for the fiery raven is what led him here in the first place. Was it on purpose? Did the fiery man know that Bartok was watching and listening in? Who knows? Thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed this little audio drama. If you did, leave a like below and comment on your favorite part of your audio drama. Don't forget to scratch the subscribe button and peck the bell so you know when the next session comes out. I hope y'all are having a great one, and I will see you next time. DMobo out.